Well, for the Rural Radio Network, I'm Joe Gangwish. Going to visit with Craig Uden from Johnson Lake or Elwood, Nebraska, however you want to designate it. But Craig, we're certainly excited for you. You are Vice President now of the NCBA, National Cattlemen's Beef Association. And, of course, that was announced in San Antonio about a week ago, so congratulations.
Thank you. It's quite an honor. It really very humbling to be in that position. So look forward to representing cattlemen throughout the United States in the next 3 to 4 years.
Let's talk about some of the issues that are going to be moving forward and of interest to you. You know, of course, you've got the feedlot background with our feedlot here in Dawson County. Talk about some of the issues.
Well, you know, trade is a big issue, and we're looking at Trade Promotion Authority, which would give the president the right to go out and make deals with other countries. And trade is very important in the beef industry. Last year, we exported $6.5 billion of our product. Nebraska alone exported over $1 billion, so it's a huge issue. So a lot of times these trade deals take forever to get going, and sometimes it's not real beneficial for the producers. So we're hoping to lower some tariffs, and as we go into that, we'll look at the TPP, which deals with a lot of the Asian Rim countries, and hopefully we can get more product moved over there, because that's a huge benefit. Right now, trade adds $360 to every beef animal out there, and that's pretty important. What would we do today if we lost that $360 worth of export? So that's huge for us.
Let's talk a little bit about the checkoff. Of course, good support, maybe raising that a little bit, but that seems to be rolling along.
You know, the checkoff, coming off the Federation side 2 years ago, I was Federation chair, and we saw a lot of growth, and you know, with less dollars, we target those dollars very, very specifically. And we've seen the return back on the checkoff go from a $5 return to $11.20 for every dollar invested. So that's huge. This is a fairly small budget, but we're seeing a lot of pull through on this, on the research and the promotion. You know, a lot of people don't understand, but we target the millennials today, so we do a lot of social media. And so if you don't see us on TV and the radio as much, it's addressing the issues of this new millennial generation, and social media is a very key point of that.
And that's something, too, I'm sure you've been addressing moving forward, you know, eventually into your presidency. You know, it seems like the world is changing, and that's something that needs to be addressed.
You know, it is changing. As we look to exports, we look at these other countries and how fast those people are moving into what do I want to say, middle class incomes, and the first thing they want to do is increase their diet or improve their diet. And one thing they're looking at is protein, meat protein. And beef might as well be right on the center of the plate as we address those. So one thing that we're looking at in the future, and you've seen it here tonight at the Dawson County banquet, a lot of young people, both students and just a lot of young producers. And, you know, that's what makes up NCBA and Nebraska cattlemen alike. They work hand in hand, and it's grassroots participation, and we work here on the county level, takes it to the state, onto the national. Things get vented, worked out, then it's brought back to the state and back to the grassroots producers, and they're informed of what's going on. So there's a lot of positives, and right now Nebraska sitting right in the center. We've seen growth in the feedlot. The cow industry is coming back. We've had some moisture. We have everything we need to be very, very fundamentally sound in the beef industry, and that's one reason Nebraska cattlemen have coined that the epicenter of beef production. So very, very proud to be a producer in Nebraska, and very particularly proud to be out of this county, Dawson County, that is.
It seems like everybody's pushing for expansion. Given your background, maybe, you know, a little bit on the feedlot side, what's your opinion on expansion?
Well, you know, the feedlot sector has a lot of bunk space throughout the United States. Is it all in the right place? Not sure, but, you know, Nebraska's pretty full on their numbers of cattle on feed. And but there is a lot of bunk space out there for growth back into these feeding operations, and consequently some people may not fill them back up with fed cattle, but there is we look to grow the cow herd and the positives out there and the lack of land and issues with water and some of these things. There's some thoughts and processes through some of these land-grant universities they're developing, and maybe having a semi-dry lot cow production model, and Nebraska's been really big into that, and there's some positive aspects there. I know in the South and Texas some of those feed yards have been converted to where they're spreading those cattle out through some of them larger facilities, and they are actually in the cow production model. So that's where some of the growth is going to be on the cow side as we look at the labor and the costs associated with running cows. There has to be some efficiencies, and that's why we belong to these organizations, so we learn and we see all these new technologies, see what works and what doesn't, and we want to continue to keep increasing the technology so that we can continue to serve the best, most wholesome, best loved product out there, and that's beef.
Well, congratulations once again, Craig, on the vice presidency.
Well, I thank you again. It is, like I said, it's very humbling. We have a tremendous amount of leaders in this county. We just had one of our locals honored in the national last week down in San Antonio as the Trailblazer of the Year, and that's quite an honor. So we've got a lot of positive aspects of this county, and a lot of leadership comes out of this county. We had the past president of the Nebraska Cattlemen out of here last year, so we're very involved county, and it filters on up to the national. So thank you.
Craig Uden, he is a new vice president of the Nebraska, or I should say NCBA, National Cattlemen's Beef Association, visiting with us here at the Dawson County Cattlemen's Banquet. For the Rural Radio Network, I'm Joe Gangwish.